Hi everyone and welcome to Good for the Game TV, and this is our special preview for the Sunmet, one of South Africa's biggest horse races that's taking place on Saturday the 26th at the Kenilworth racetrack in Cape Town. It's one of those events that even if you're not a big horse racing punter, and frankly I'm not, I don't bet much on the horses these days, but I have to get involved in days like the Queen's Plate, the Summer Cup, the July of course, and the Sunmet. I was down last year at the track. It was a great experience, and really looking forward to sitting on my couch and having a few punts come Saturday afternoon. Well, before you do anything else, go to the bottom of this video and subscribe to the Good for the Game channel. That way you can stay close to all our videos. We're going to be having plenty of rugby shows over this year as well, which is obviously culminating in the World Cup. Now, joining me on the line, who else could I ask after his form in the Summer Cup? It's horse racing personality Jason Dedekind. And Jason, great to have you on the show. And I mean, we haven't spoken since the Summer Cup, but well done on that. I mean, you tipped us the winner, Tilbury Fort, and I think you tipped 3 out of 4 of your selections won, and it's some nice prices as well.
Yeah, Brent. I mean, good evening to your viewers and that, and it's always a privilege to be on your Good for the Game show. Yeah, we got lucky in the Summer Cup. Obviously, Tilbury Fort did well for us. Thundering finish up the outside there to bring home the money. I had a small bet, as I always do, just to have an interest. And yeah, 3 out of the 4 bets came home. So hopefully your followers made some money, and we'll try and steer them in the right direction come Saturday at Kenilworth. It's quite a tough card, massive fields. Follow jockeys, follow your gut, and let's see if we can point the followers in the right direction.
Now, I know you're not going down this year, but you have been down in previous years due to your involvement in the industry. Jason, you know, I was watching the other day the Queen's Plate just after New Year. There was an incredible atmosphere there. How do the two events compare? Which one's bigger?
Well, the Met from a size perspective and a crowd attendance perspective is bigger. Obviously not as big as the Vodacom Durban July just yet. But having said that, Phumelela and Sunbet's partnership, or Sun International's partnership, it's going to go from strength to strength. I mean, obviously last year with O Susanna winning, she's going for the double this year. You know, it's all about the hype. But for me, the Queen's Plate you can't beat. It's you know, it's etched in racing history these days. Quality fields. It's a 2-day event these days, so that it's a little bit of a festival atmosphere around it. I don't know if I agree with that personally just yet. I'd like, if we have a festival, maybe a few extra days leading into it, not just a 2-day festival. But having said that, both events have quality in their own right. The Queen's Plate probably my preference, because also I don't like crowds and, you know, big people not being able to get your bets on. That's the worry on these big days. So I urge punters to go online to their favorite bookmaker. Obviously, Sunbet, the sponsor of this, you know, the likes of the other guys that support your website. Go and have a look there. Obviously, the new kids on the block for me, representing Scorebet, and then you've got Hollywood, World Sports Betting, the leaders in the game. Go on there and get your bets on early. But for me, the event that I love to go to is the Queen's Plate.
Excellent. Well, let's get straight into it, Jason. I'm going to share my screen and we'll go on to Sunbet. You touched on the fact that they are of course the sponsors. So we'll go straight across to their site now. I've got the betting up there, but let me first just show people. I'll go to the Sunbet homepage. If you log on to Sunbet, you log on to sunbet.co.za. It'll take you to their homepage. Here they've got a number of, you can see live games that are going on at the moment. But then you click on horse racing. We'll click on anti-post. And let's get ourselves to the Met South Africa anti-post. And I'm going to scan down. They've got some other races priced up, Jason. We'll touch on that later. But let's get straight to the Met betting. And here we've got Do It Again, won the Queen's Plate, and an 11-8 favourite.
Yeah, I think a very worthy favourite. Obviously, the Vodacom Durban July winner, going for Queen's Plate Sun Met double. You know, not too many have done that previously. I think a very worthy favourite. 7 drawn 7 for the superstitious people out there. You know, you just got to look at its comeback run in the Greenpoint, when 3rd behind Legal Eagle. That was a superb prep run for the Queen's Plate. Obviously, you know, Socrat got a nice lead on Do It Again in the Queen's Plate, and you know, the horse showed its class. There's been a lot of talk in the press that you know, Richard Fourie and Justin Snaith say this horse is a machine. It's everything it looks like it's going to be. You know, I've looked at the race and I've been trying to find horses to beat it. Obviously, 2 horses in the field that have beaten it in the past are Tapping Off and a horse over the page, Eyes Wide Open. But that was early on in his career, and I think Do It Again as a 4-year-old has definitely has definitely matured. I mean, he won the July as a 3-year-old, which was a fantastic feat. But having said that, I think the way that he's going and the way that he can quicken off any sort of speed really makes me think that he is probably one of the better bets on the card. He will be. I'll take 2 pick sixes on the day. Obviously, massive pick six pool with the tote, and obviously the open bets for the guys out there. Third run after arrest, everything points to do it again. I think the stable companion, Oh Susanna, is the biggest danger. Also, third runner after arrest. I really liked her to win the July last year. I liked her to do the Met July double, but unfortunately she didn't take her place. But her comeback runs have been also very promising. Second to Lady in Black, and then a very gutsy win over Lady in Black. But carrying 57 this time, she's not carrying 51.5 as a 3-year-old like she did last year. I think she's got a lot of work to do to beat her stable companion. But having said that, she's utmost class, and I expect it to be right there. So, for me, in the main race, you guys looking to beat the favourite, don't look further than Oh Susanna. And then one horse that's at quite a nice big price, and having been down to Kenilworth last week, a Thursday race meeting, listening to a few of the guys that support Kenilworth racing, and fantastic job that the new board is doing there. The guys are talking very much as a nice value bet to run into the quartets. A horse called Eyes Wide Open, and this horse as a juvenile was highly touted. Not a bad 3-year-old career, but I think this horse has also been aimed particularly for this race. Gavin Larena rides. He rode a last time out. I think he got off the horse and just said, this horse may have needed it. And for me, that's going to be my top 3. I'm going to look at, you've got certain bookmakers out there offering R1 million for top 6 in order. I'm going to do it again from Oh Susanna and Eyes Wide Open for third.
Right. Now, just going back to the Queen's Plate, Jason, I watched that do it again, and they interviewed the jockey straight away at the finish. I can't remember his exact words, but it was kind of back this horse for the Met.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask you, let's say, obviously that was in the heat of the moment, and he was incredibly thrilled with the ride, which, on that particular day, coming from off the pace, perhaps a distance short of his best. But as a trainer, are you happy when the jockey says something like that at the end, or is it just that's really piling the pressure on us?
Yeah, well, I think Justin Snaith, he is used to pressure. I mean, he's a guy that, he hides away. He doesn't like to be in the limelight. He sort of leaves his brother Jono to do that. But having said that, all the kudos to him and the training. As long as his stable is in the public eye and there's positive things being said about him, I think Justin is happy. Justin was, when I was at Pumalela and from the media department, he was one of those trainers I could phone up at any stage and ask about the well-being of the horse. A thorough professional. So, I don't think he would have been upset with what Richard said. Yes, it piles on the pressure. But like I said, I've been following the media this week. He said it himself. He said this horse is good, and we don't know how good he is. So, reading between, that's why I've gone with him as one of my pick 6 bankers. Like I said, I'll cover in another smaller percentage one. I think the way the race is gonna pan out too. You've got a few potential pacemakers, so the pace is going to be on. You've got the likes of Milton and Kampala Campari, Illegal Eagle. They say they might try new tactics, so you don't know. And then Double Mint, Rosanna's been leading, in the last couple of starts too. So I think there's going to be a fair pace on, and I think that'll suit Do It Again. I'm not saying Snaith's going to set it up for Do It Again, but having said that, this horse is one off a slow pace, one off a good pace, absolutely canted it. And we mustn't forget that Vodacom Durban July finish. There was nothing else in the race. I know Made to Conquer was paddling back in second. So, for me, this horse has come on leaps and bounds, and I was very impressed with that Queen's Plate finish.
I won't forget that July in a hurry because I was on Made to Conquer that day. And
but I think most of the people were. If you look at the betting move, nobody touched Do It Again. Although a lot of the pundits did say that was the better one of the State Yard, but the money seemed to come for obviously good old Jeffrey Lloyd.
That's it. And if I looked at the Queen's Plate as well, I think it was really Rainbow Bridge and Legal Eagle. Most people were expected to fight it out. And I remember looking at the betting, and you know, when Do It Again won, I remember thinking, hold on, that horse was up there in the betting, but it wasn't spoken about by anybody. It sort of snuck under the radar and came and won. And now, I mean, it must be going for what must be a fairly unique treble, surely, the July Queen's Plate and potentially the Met in a calendar year.
Yeah, I think it will be a unique treble, and obviously this horse, you know, the world's its oyster. You don't know where he's going to go from next. I mean, I haven't seen any sort of things to say that he might be going overseas in that, but I'm 100% with you. In the Queen's Plate, I was on Rainbow Bridge. I took the Rainbow Bridge double Queen's Plate into the Met. Just I thought that was the right one, and you know, I think, you know, Rainbow Bridge is a good horse. Don't get me wrong, but Do It Again showed tremendous class, tremendous character, tremendous guts. And, you know, Richard Fourie, he knows how to win. He's one of the more level-headed jockeys out there. You know, I'm not shy to have a bet when he's having a ride. There's a few others that I shy away from, but Richard's one of those guys I'm happy to put my money down. And like I said, I mean, he's got a great book of rides for Saturday. And I'm sure that the Snaith Yard, as they always say, they're just happy to have winners on big days and that, but they'll be itching to take this one home. And like I said, you know, whether it's Oh Susanna for them or Do It Again, you know, they'll be happy. But on paper and just reading between the lines, Do It Again's a machine.
Yeah, I must admit, everything I've read and seen, I'm on Do It Again this time as well. Of course, that's not a calendar year, but within a 12-month period.
Within a 12-month period.
Yeah, sorry, I said calendar year there. I was thinking of remember when Tiger Woods was winning all 4 majors and you had, I think it was called the Tiger Slam or something like that.
Well, in terms of South African racing, it's almost like a Grand Slam, if you want to call it.
Yes.
That. I mean, you just got the Champions Challenge coming up in March, and those are your top 4 sort of races.
Yes. Excellent. Well, Jason, I guess because we like the favourite there, there's no point dwelling too much deeper. We have mentioned a couple of horses that could be running into the places and that, but it's a big card, as you say, very competitive with big fields. The Met aside, the Met's only got 13 runners this year, which I found quite interesting. But aside from that, there's some big fields. Have you had a chance to have a look at the rest of the card?
Yeah, I've looked at the rest of the card. I've been looking at obviously a few of the betting sites too, looking at our own book in terms of pressure, in terms of some horses, and the horse in the first race, Silver's Fling, is coming for a lot of betting pressure. It hasn't shortened too much in the market, but there's a lot of volume being traded on the horse. It was favoured at about 5-2. I think the 1 and the 2 there will fight it out, Silver's Fling and Give Me the Rain. The other horse that's coming for, I won't say surprising money, but you know, been gelded and then rested. Vendi Globe, the 12 horse on the card from the Andre Null stable, Aldo Domeyer. It's not a punting stable, but you always got to respect money when it comes down for a Null horse. So I'll look at that. I originally made Silver's Fling one of my better bets, and I changed my mind because you know, that last run just, you know, leaves a bit of a funny taste in your mouth. But blinkers go on, back to a sprint. There shouldn't be much to choose between the 1 and the 2, but like I said, the money's been for the 12. The second race on the card is a merit rated 74 handicaps. It's one of those where you look for a bit of value again. And I thought the horse called Kalahari Ninja at about, depending on your bookmaker, 7-8 to 1 could also be a good bet. Nice each way bet. Draw a line through its last start. It clipped heels at the start and never got in the race. Over 1,600 meters, drops back to 1,400 meters. There's a bit of collateral form between What a Summer, Kalahari Ninja, and All in Line. I think drawn 1, like I said, you follow stables, you follow jocks on the day. Snaith Fourie, drawn 1, Kalahari Ninja, nice price. There's been a lot of money for number 15, GG's Dynasty. Won its maiden last time out in quite dominant fashion, quick and nicely. And Brett Crawford, Cornet Orfer, drawn at 2. Also worth.
Well, I think I better jump in there because it sounds like Jason's got a bit of a connection problem. Sorry, Jason.
Back.
You froze for a second, but carry on.
So did you.
But did I freeze as well?
Yeah. I'd say play quartets and swingers and things around G for me. You've frozen again, but I'll carry on talking. Race 3. Obviously, it's a summer juvenile stakes race. These horses can improve on the ticky. Joey Ramsden's got quite a good hand here. He's known to not get them too fit first time out, so take note of any of these horses that have won here, like the one Double Alliance. Speaking to one of the better and more astute punters around, and maybe betting world might get a bit upset here, but Daryl Marie likes a bit of the 2 Emerald Band. He thinks that's a bit of value. I saw it was at quite a nice price. Won well last time out, hitting a decent field. But the horse that I've gone for is number 7, Vandar's Spirit. I thought this horse's win on the 5th of January was tremendous effort. It's drawn up the outside of the track. Of course, lost 2 lengths at the start on debut. Still looked green, still looked all out of sea, but motored home to win a good contest. So, for me, I think there's more come on about her too. But it's one of those races where you either take a stand or you load up. And the bar pots obviously expected to be quite a big pool, and is the second leg. I'll be putting a few horses in the first leg. So this race, I'm going to go light. I'm going to bank the 7 Vandar Spirit and have my bets around that. But, like I said, the followers of Daryl Marie, he likes a bit of the 2 Emerald Band for a bit of value. I see Computerform's Tip Double Alliance. With a weight turnaround, there's also the 14 comes into the equation, which is also Joey Ramsden, Ibra. So, Ian, these juveniles improve, a lot more value out there, but for me, I'm going to take a chance on the 7 Vandar Spirit. Race 4, first leg of your pick 6, CTS 1200, quite a quality field here. I see Cirillo is quite short in the market, and there's been a lot of pressure on her in terms of on him in terms of the betting markets. A lot of volume there. I'm going to play to beat him. I don't think he's a banker. Can he win? Yes. He won't be winning with my money on it though. I think the horse to beat or horses to throw in at good prices. And I'm just turning over the page. Obviously, 2 Van Halen won a decent graded sprint at Scottsville last year. I think that's a big runner. Palace Chapel, poor Peter doesn't travel for nothing. He doesn't travel to the Western Cape just to go and sit at Bloberg Beach or Camps Bay. He's there to win races, and that horse's form it squeaks of a decent horse. 7C comes into the equation, but the horse over the page, Temple Graffin, I think for me is another one of my value bets. About 10, 12 to 1 if you can squeeze your bookmaker. Last time out was just a bit too far in my view. I know the Computerform says not striding out. I think 1200, 1400 where this horse needs to campaign. It's got a light weight. It's well weighted in the race, and that's decent value for me. Glenn Cotson, Pierce Stradham. I think Striker's going to have a winner on the day, and he'll be itching to show that those youngsters up. So I'll be having a few bets around Temple Graffin and race 4, a couple of each way strikes, and definitely putting into a place all to come.
Jason, just to stop you there before you move into the jackpot, the pick 6, I've read reports that we could be expecting a 10 million pool.
Yeah, they upped the carryover by quite some margin, and the latest, obviously in the Computerform itself, it says pick 6 mega pool expected 7.5, but I've seen exactly that 10 mil, and so it's nothing to cry about. You've got to take a ticket. Obviously, the lotto this week's been massive too. So punters and bettors out there have been spoiled for choice in the week leading up to the Sun Met, and if you haven't won the lotto, have a go at the pick 6. And like I said, in most bookmakers, they offer those limits too. So I mean, it's massive fields, massive payouts. I mean, that was the whole dividend thing for the tote. And well done to Rob Scott, the new betting executive at Pumalela. Obviously, taking over from V. Moodley. It's not changing of the mask, but Rob will be asserting himself into the role, and all credit to him and all good luck to him. Heading into the first leg of the jackpot is one of those races where I also ummed and ahed about what do I do, where do I go. Looking for value, Majestic Mozart would have been my sort of value, and one of those horses that can pop up. Silvano's Proud, the 12 on the card. Twist of Fate, very good win last time out, and then in the previous race, finished second behind Socrates. And there's a few of them that come out of that form lot. One World, Chichichumu Run, and Majestic Mozart are the other 3. I just think One World, Twist of Fate was allowed to dictate the race last time out when they all met. I just think Anton will be a little bit more astute this time. They've really rated this horse One World. I won't say it blotched its copybook last time because the third behind Socrates is not, nothing to worry about. Socrates finished second in the Queen's Plate, so take that run full of merit. I just think Anton will be one up this time. Interesting to see Bernard's not riding Twist of Fate unless there's been a jockey change that I haven't seen. So Munga's on it. So everything just points to One World for me, and it's one of those other horses I'm going to take a chance in the pick six and banker. You've got to take a stand somewhere. Reputation, this horse is a machine, and like I said, I just think last time out, I don't say Anton rode a bad race, but I think Bernard and obviously Socrates Jockey rode better races. So I'm taking a chance and I'm going to bank a One World. Then you get to the Betting World Cape Flying Championships, and this is where you can go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I think there's a lot of horses here with class, a lot of horses. You've got last year's winner, Sergeant Hardy, runner-up Trip to Heaven. Trip to Heaven's always there, but is he going to lose start? Is he, there's always those questions. There's a lot of pressure for the favorite, and when I say let's go wide, the favorite normally romps home. Favorite at the moment is number 7, Greg Sheen, Brett Crawford. So if you look at this last run, it's got a few of these held, a few muddling form lines here. So that's why I say you got to go quite wide. My first selection would be the stable companion, would be the one Bold Respect. Also looking at a bit of value, probably 6-7 to 1 you can get with your bookmaker, Cornet Offer. Third run after arrest, loves the 1,000 meters. So I'll be going with that. But like I said, whatever your budget can afford, throw in as many as you can. The 2 Sergeant Hardy, the 3 Rebels Champ, 4 Attenborough pops up when he wants to. Casimir, same sort of thing. Nothing wrong with the form line. Trip to Heaven when he wants to behave. Pacific Trader, Speed Point, Dutch Phillip. I'm going through the whole card here. Sand and Sea. And then you've got the filly at the bottom of the weights, which has also found a lot of betting support and pressure through some of the channels there. Pierce Stradum for Yvette Bremner. Obviously, I won't say it's a punting stable, but just looking through the owners there, you can see 1 or 2 punters in the midst. So you can see why the horse would have shortened. But lightweight, and in terms of the weights, she's not badly in. Obviously, this not being a handicap, a Bold Respect is the top rated horse and comes in at 118. And where the weights are structured, Princess Rebel comes in at 112. So not too much in it. That's why I've also, as a form study, you've got to go with the right weighted horses. That's why I respect Bold Respect in the race, but I wouldn't talk anybody out of backing anything in that race. It's one of the more open ones on the card.
And you can survive to this point, Jason. If you get through, you're going now still after what? Is it 3 legs now?
Yeah, 3 legs, 4, 5, 6.
You're feeling pretty good at this stage.
Yeah, I think, and if you've gone light and then my banker arrives and then you get a spook in that sprint, and it can happen. Kenilworth's notorious for that. Then you get the G-Bets Cape Derby, Grade 1. Obviously, a quality field here too. You've got to look at the horse Bunker Hunt, who unfortunately dropped Richard Ferree last time out. So you don't really know how good he is just yet. He's also, full of talk. But, Snate's got a good hand in this race, and Ferree stuck with this ride. Horse number 9, Bulgarian. Excuse this pronouncing if I've got it wrong, but also from the Snaith yard. This would be my sort of outside selection for the race. I look at 5 to 1. Would I take 5 to 1 Bunker Hunt, who's restless? No. Would I take 10 to 1 Bulgarian? Probably, because as a betting man, we look for the value. I think this is could be the lurker in the pack, and I do think the extra furlong will suit. And then the other stable companion you got to look at is Knights Templar, also been there and thereabouts, and also gives the impression that this type of distance will suit. But Duncan Hulls doesn't come to these races also for shits and giggles, excuse my French. And Horse Thanksgiving will be right there. He finished second behind Hawam in the Dingons. Now, for me, Hawam is one of the most exciting prospects in South African racing. Yes. He just managed to win his last start, and yes, maybe he wasn't as impressive as that, but horses are learning. He's a 3-year-old colt, and I think that run there, the second to a Warm, could also be one of those form lines that we stand up and take note of. You got the Durban boys taking on the Cape boys. It's going to be an interesting race, but I'm going to go quite light in the pick 6 here. I'll probably throw in those 4, and then top of the ratings are the fillies at the bottom end of the board. Santa Clara and Second Request. Second Request also one of the favorites for the race. Decent forms against older horses. Cirillo front and center. Oh Susanna. I won't talk anybody out of there. So I'll probably go 5 or 6 horses there, and just hope for the bigger priced one of those to arrive. If you understand. But if I had to be a tipster here, I'd be tipping Bulgarian first.
Excellent. Well, Jason, before we go into the last couple of legs, I'm going to ask you at the end of the day to share your pick six with us. You can either send it to me or post it on the Good for the Game forum in our horse racing thread. So I think there'll be a lot of guys that would like to follow your pick six, perhaps for percentage.
Well, I'll definitely post it probably Friday afternoon once I've updated with scratchings, and then I'll have a look on Saturday morning and update it. I'll just post a skeleton one. I'll post a real one, then a skeleton one in terms of, guys can add in their own selections and that. I don't believe in you need to spend lots of money. You have a few rand, have an interest, have a bit of fun, have a bra, watch whatever rugby that you're going to tell me what's on, and
not much I can tell you this weekend.
I know. But yeah, I mean, obviously from a racing perspective, it's going to be a great day in front of the TV. And I mean, just getting to race 8 here, the Claverflame Mallorca Stakes, what a race! Lady in Black, Snow Dance, and this horse front and center. I mean, they tell me that she's a machine. They tell me that she's unbeatable. The form lines show me that. But having said that, I think there's a horse here called Snow Dance that people mustn't write off just yet. The bookmakers have sort of priced these three up as your favorites: Lady in Black, Snow Dance, and Front and Center. Front and Center seems to be getting the more and more volume towards her. Maybe it's because Snow Dance has drawn 12, but I know for a fact this is a race that they want to win. I don't think Richard Freeze won this race yet as a jock. So, these guys always like to tick these off their CVs. So for me, I'm going to lead with Snow Dance to be my outright selection. But in the pick six, you've got to throw in the one Lady in Black, the 12 front and center. And if you want to throw in one or two others, I'm not going to talk you out of it. Fiorella, I mean, this horse has beaten Snow Dance level weights. Blinkers go on this time. Like I said, Duncan doesn't travel for nothing. A lot of pressure for Justin State's other horse, Miyabi Gold. A lot of place money on that. Striker rides there. Could also be one to throw into your quartets and that. And then the 13 horse, Clouds Unfold, obviously from Candace Bass Yard. This could also be anything. It's been running over various distances, held behind front and center on their last meeting on the 15th of December. But these horses can improve. So like I said, if you're looking to beat the top three on the boards, throw in those three other ones, and then hopefully if you get a result. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go the top three on the boards. But like I said, I'm firmly in the camp of Snow Dance.
Well, before you give us the last, what's your prediction? What do you think this pick six is going to pay on Saturday? What would it not pay less than, do you think?
Well, it shouldn't pay less than about 150 to 200,000 now. And that might not sound a lot because it's a 10 million rand pool, but if all the favorites arrive, you're going to get a few of those guys that are clever, that take the favorites, that are in the know, that just play Richard Farid, Elder Domeyer, Bernard Fade Herb, Corne Offert sort of perms, and they get it lucky. They get lucky, but if you get one or two results, if one world that gets beaten by Majestic Mozart, there's your result. Mm-hmm. If one of those books arrive in the field race, there. If one of these three don't arrive, then it's going to pay. I mean, if a horse like Fiorella or Miyabi Gold to come in, it's gonna pay. And then getting to the last leg, I am going to bank the 7. But having said that, for the guys that want to take smaller percentages, I wouldn't talk them out of putting in Legal Eagle with maybe a change of tactics. Lyle Hewitson, hungry for a Sunmet success. I won't talk them out of adding in the likes of Rainbow Bridge. Even Tapper North, bouncing back to best form, eyes wide open. As I said, that's my value of the race. Double Mint and Susanna. So depending on what your budget is, depending on where you play and how much percent you can get, if you play with a tote, you have to take 1%. If you play elsewhere, you can take percent of a percent, which is great, which is like I like to play. So yeah, I do think that I think the pick six will pay in essence of about 500,000-600,000 on Saturday. I'm hoping it does that because that's how I play. I play the smaller percentages for the bigger pools, for the bigger guys, and so on and so on. I like to be in it a long time as opposed to stand. But like I said, I will take a smaller pick six for about 200 bucks, 250 rand with those two bankers, and try and find a result elsewhere. But otherwise, I'll cover and spend a few hundred rand on taking a smaller percentage with beating those horses too.
Sometimes my tactic on these sort of race days is I normally try and get through the first leg without too much cover. My logic being, if I get knocked out, then I can take a jackpot in the next leg.
Yeah, well, that's always been my logic too. And, talking to a few of the guys, the likes of Owen Heffer at Hollywood, he's the opposite. He likes to load up early and then go to the back.
Yes.
It's you know, it's how you play. I'm exactly the same way as you. I'd rather be out and then now I can still chase, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Only problem is I do a lot of chasing.
Yeah, at the moment, I mean, racing, you know, I haven't been playing too much, obviously, you know, working quite hard and trying to focus on that. But, you know, it shows like this get my blood boiling again, get my enthusiasm levels up. You know, race 10, we're getting there now. I know it's not part of the Big Pick 6 pool, but, you know, a horse called Strathton here, I think that'll be hard to beat. I'm not sure what it prices is, probably about 4 or 5 to 1 in the betting. With its stable companion Elusive Silver as one of the value horses in the race. That's probably about 15, 16 to 1. Elusive Silver hasn't tried the 2,800 meters yet. This horse was touted as one of the better July horses a few years back before it had a fatal or near fatal injury, and it's actually miraculously that it's back on the track. It's the best rated horse in the race. So yeah, I'll be taking swingers and exactors, the 1 and the 4. In race 10. Obviously, I can't take anybody away from backing the 5. Give me One Night and a couple over the page. Walter Smoothie, Magnificent 7, maybe Ballad of the Sea. But if you study form, and the form lines all point to the 4 Strathton with the value and the lurker in the pack, the stable companion, the 1 Elusive Silver.
Excellent. Well, I'll give you some prices there, Jason. Strathton 2 to 1 and Elusive Silver 16 to 1.
Perfect. Well, I know where I'll be having my place money, if you know what I mean.
And the swingers will pay. The swingers will pay very nicely.
Yeah, well, that's where I'll be going. Richard Ferree, he might be a bit celebratory after winning the Sun Met on Do It Again. So I'll go for the stable companion. Come with Kamala up for a bit of value. You know, that's how I play. I mean, I look for the value. Small outlay, big return. Race 11, quite a tough maiden plate. I think a lot can win here. I like a bit of the 3 Nexus, a lot of betting support there too. The 4 Cat Daddy and the 6 Saint West form speak for itself. There's the GG Dynasty's form line. The 8 Dharma must be included. And there's been a lot of money for the 10. Peter Paul Rubens, stable companion to the favorite Nexus, being backed in from 20s into like 6s or 7s, depending on where you play. I think that will also improve over the 1,600 meters. But it's not one of those races that will get the blood boiling at what time is this race? At 25 past 6 at night. I think everybody's going to be half plastered and moled, as they say. So I think one of those races, watch if you can see the visuals go down, if your eyes are not blurry, watch them go down and then make your selection in terms of value. And then race 12 is one of those races that's quite tough. That's why I've gone for a bit of value. You got to respect the 8 Russet Air and the 12 Top of the Class. I think Top of the Class is definitely the horse to beat and current favorite. I think this is a horse that will be right there. You've got to respect the 15 and even the 17 if it gets into the race, the reserve runner. Trip to the Sky, the 6, 2, the Wonder Winner. You know, I can go through the whole field, but that's hence why I've ended up with the 1 Pacific Spirit as one of my value bets. Listen, punters out there are going to say, but it's a PE horse, Yes, it's a PE horse, but Yvette Bremner doesn't travel for nothing. She hasn't picked up a stake check during the course of the day. She's going to be trying her damnedest in the last. Lyle Hewitson, her stable jock in PE with Ryan Munger. Those are the 2 stable jocks. He's reunited with this horse, and I think the drop and trip definitely suits. 1,000-meter form, very good. 3-time winner, 2 seconds, 1/3, and 2/4 over 9 starts. I just look for the value in the race, and for me, Pacific Spirit could get us out of jail at the end of the day.
Well, we're looking about 15 to 1 there, so that's a nice price. And you know what? You talk about getting out of jail, and that's the thing. You're coming into the last, you're either nicely up for the day, in which case you want to have a nice punt. But I must be honest, more often than not, I'm chasing coming into the last. And I mean, that's the sort of price you want to get involved in. And I must tell you that on Queen's Plate Day, I had an absolute shocker. And I was coming into the last 2 races, and I sent my mate of mine a message. He's actually in Dubai. And I said to him, come on, man, give me 2 winners. And he'd also been having a shocking day. And he took me the winners of the last 2. Lovely. And because at that stage, you're actually betting bigger than you were earlier in the day, I ended up profit.
No, well, that's what you do. You work out what you're going to lose and whatever what you can get you back on top. And, you know, I like taking a quartet in the last. And I don't see a carryover here. But having said that, the pool will still be fairly decent. So I'll be roving probably the 1 and the 12, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember the favourites number. And then hope for two higher placed priced horses to run. Yeah, I'll be floating Pacific Spirit and Top of the Class. I think for me, those are the 2. and you hope for the best. I mean, at the end of the day, too, jockeys are tired, horses are tired, staff are tired, punters are tired. It's a long day, 12 races at any big race meeting. But having said that, it's a great day for Sun International, great day for Phumelela and Kenilworth Racing, and a great day for the bookmakers out there as well. You know, you mustn't take away from, you know, the tote do great things for punters on the day, but you know, the bookmakers out there, they bleed every day, they sweat every day for the punters, and they'll be itching. I know I'll be watching our book very, very carefully with the guys, our service providers and my team. So, you know, like I said, there's a lot of pressure on a lot of horses, but just, yeah, running through my best bets there. I like a bit of Van Der Spirit, 5-2, race 3, race 5, One World. I'm making a stance there, and then Do It Again. You know, I've watched the races, I've listened to the media. I was in the camp of Rainbow Bridge, oh Susanna, but you know, you got to take it like you said. Richard Ferry said this horse is a good horse. He'll win the Met. You got to take that on face value and follow. And then value bets, you know, I've mentioned a few others in these two, but for me, race 4, Temple Graffin, I'll definitely be having an each way strike on. And then the lucky last race, 12-1, Pacific Spirit for the PE Raider to get us out of it.
Excellent. Well, I brought up the slide there with Jason's Sunmet bets there, and have a look at some of those prices. There's certainly some good value there, particularly those last 2 value bets. But Jason, very much with you on Do It Again as well. I'm hoping Do It Again certainly does the business for us. But just generally speaking, you know, you talk about getting your blood boiling. You've certainly got my blood boiling the way you've spoken about this card. And, you know, I came into the show looking for a bet on the Met. I'm now looking to pick up the pick 6. And I've got, quite frankly, I'll be betting from race 1, but keeping a bit in reserve for race 12 there, in case I need a 15-1 winner to get me out of it.
I think you and I need to meet at Hogs up the road and actually go and sit and study this card and put our money together and our heads together and find the right winners. But yeah, I mean, these are the type of shows, Brent, that going forward, obviously, my brand will want to get involved with you guys from a racing perspective, a soccer perspective, a rugby perspective, a golf perspective. I mean, you guys do it all. I mean, I've followed your website many years now. Like I said in the previous insert, I haven't really posted as much as I should have. But having said that, it's part of my idea from a marketing perspective now to really synergize with a decent sporting brand out there. And Good for the Game is definitely one of those that I hold in high regard. And I really respect the views of your punters on there. I think you've got a lot of astute guys. Every website will have those guys that like to chip and like to have a bit of banter and a bit of fun. But the guys know what they're talking about. And, you know, kudos to you and your team and obviously what you've built up. But I look forward to being part of your community for years to come. Anytime you want to talk a bit of racing, I'm very happy. And like I said, golf, soccer, cricket, whatever you want to talk, my ears are open.
Excellent. Well, Jason, it's been an absolute pleasure. Now, you can log on to the Good for the Game site. Look for Good for the Game forum. We're going to have a few posters posting their Met tips. Guys like Southpaw in the UK, who's one of the shrewder punters out there. Interesting to see what he goes for, because he is known as a bit of a long shot specialist and he catches a few. But he's also the first to put up his hand sometimes and say, we can't beat the favorite here. Let's go for it. And then Little Woozy, and that will be you, Jason. You'll post your pick 6 for us, so it'll be good for the guys to have a look at that. So thanks very much. And Jason, yeah, good punting, and look forward to corresponding with you on Twitter and in the forum.
100%. Thanks, Brent, and all the best to yourself and your community out there. Have a good Saturday, and yeah, good luck.
Excellent. Can't wait for the action to begin. Just a reminder, if you do want to open up an account at Sunbets, I'm going to point up here. It won't be here if you're one of the first people to watch the show, but I am going to put a little video up there, how to open an account at Sunbets. It's very, very easy to get involved in online betting. There's plenty of opportunities out there, and yeah, it really is great fun. Easy to fund the account as well. Thanks very much for watching this special Sunmet preview. Thanks very much to Jason for joining us, and we look forward to chatting you soon about rugby and some other big sporting events.